kind of wild when you think about it, how AI is just like everywhere now. I
Yeah.
mean, we're so used to personalized stuff, like recommendations popping up or our smart assistants, well, assisting.
Right.
But we don't always stop and think about like the energy behind it all,
Yeah, for sure.
which is what we're diving into today.
Okay, that's good.
Green AI.
Yeah.
Basically, how to make sure AI is, environmentally friendly.
And we're looking at this blog post by Naveen Balani. He's an AI expert. Really interesting stuff.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Have you?
Yeah.
So one thing that honestly kind of blew my mind, he said training just one AI model, for it to work right,
Yeah.
that can have the same carbon footprint as 5 cars
Wow.
over their whole lifespan.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Makes you think, right?
Yeah, definitely. So why is AI such an energy hog to begin with?
Well, it's a few things. First off, you've got the sheer amount of data these AI models have to process. Like, we're talking massive, massive amounts of information. And crunching all that requires serious computing power.
Right. It's not just like a little calculator doing basic math.
Exactly. And then there's the actual training process itself. Getting those algorithms to a point where they're actually useful, that takes billions, even trillions of calculations.
Wow, I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
It's a lot. And all that computing, it takes energy, tons of it.
So it's not just the AI doing its thing, it's all the work behind the scenes to make it smart.
Exactly. And we can't forget about keeping those AI systems running once they're trained. You've got servers, monitoring, updates, all that jazz. It all adds up.
So basically, if AI keeps growing like this, without thinking about the environment, we're kind of creating a new problem while trying to solve others.
That's the big concern. It's a bit like, what's a good analogy? It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline if we don't figure out the sustainability part.
Right. Makes sense. So how do we make AI more sustainable?
Well, Balani, in his blog, he lays out 5 key parts of this whole green AI thing.
Okay, I like lists. Lay it on me.
Okay, so first up is something called energy-efficient model design.
Energy-efficient model design, so like making the AI itself greener.
Yeah, exactly. It's about making the AI more streamlined, less wasteful with its energy, but without losing any of its smarts. Like, imagine a giant robot.
Okay, giant robot, got it.
And you realize half the gears and wires in there, they're not actually doing anything useful. So you strip those out. That's kind of what this is like.
So it's like decluttering the AI's brain.
Exactly.
I like it. So that's one. What about the rest of this green AI list?
Right. So the next one is where it gets strategic. It's called carbon-aware computing. And it's all about picking the right time and place to do those big, energy-intensive AI tasks.
Okay, so like if you know a certain time of day is when, say, solar power is super strong,
Yeah, exactly.
you schedule your AI's heavy lifting for them.
You got it. Like planning to do your laundry when electricity is cheapest, but on a much bigger scale.
Smart. I can get behind that. So we're being more mindful of how and when we use the AI, especially for those big jobs.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
Okay, what else? What about the data centers? Those things must use a ton of energy.
Oh, they do. That's actually the next thing on the list, using renewable energy in those data centers. And the good news is big companies like Google and Microsoft, they're already on it.
They are. That's great to hear.
Yeah, they're building data centers powered by solar, wind, the whole shebang. It's like, remember when everyone was supposed to switch to energy-efficient light bulbs?
Oh, yeah.
It's that, but supersized.
I like it. Okay, so that's what, 3 down, 2 to go.
You got it. So the next one is all about measuring.
Measuring.
Yeah, like how do we even know how much of a carbon footprint our software is making? That's where software carbon intensity comes in, or SCI for short.
SCI. Okay, sounds important.
It is. It's basically a way to measure the carbon emissions from, well, making and running software, including AI.
So like a carbon calculator, but for code.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay, that's 4. What's the final piece of the green AI puzzle?
All right, so this one is about optimizing where that AI brain power actually happens. It's called edge computing. Instead of your phone, for example, always sending data to some far-off server, what if some of the processing could happen right there on your phone?
Oh, interesting.
It's like having a little mini brain in your device.
So less reliance on those giant energy-guzzling data centers.
Exactly.
It's like we're giving the power back to the little guy.
In a way, yeah, and it's way more efficient. It uses less energy overall.
I'm into it. So less is more. Be mindful of when we use the big AI muscle. Make sure the data centers are greened. It feels like there's actually a lot we can do.
There is. And the really cool part is this isn't just about playing defense, just trying to reduce the bad. Green AI can help us tackle some really big positive changes too.
Like what? Give me the good stuff.
Well, imagine if AI could help us design better renewable energy systems or predict natural disasters before they happen. That's the kind of potential we're talking about.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. It's using AI for good.
Yeah.
But who's actually out there doing this green AI thing well? I mean, are there any companies or organizations that are like leading the charge? Let's dig into that coming up after the break. So who's out there actually walking the walk on green AI? Like, who are the real leaders in making this stuff happen?
Well, Google's definitely a big player here. They've been really upfront about their whole carbon-aware computing thing. They're even using AI to make their data centers more energy efficient.
Wait, so it's like AI helping to make AI greener.
Yeah, kind of meta, right.
Totally. So how does that even work?
Basically, they use AI to look at tons of data, like weather patterns, when energy is cheapest, how much computing power they'll need, and it figures out the best time and place to do everything.
So it's like a super scheduler for green energy.
Pretty much, it's all about optimization.
That's awesome. Anyone else doing cool stuff? Microsoft, maybe? They're huge in AI too, right?
Yeah, they're all over it. Microsoft's really into building data centers that are completely powered by renewables. They actually want to be carbon negative by 2030.
Ambitious.
Negative, that's hardcore. So it's not just swapping out like dirty energy for clean energy. It's a whole rethink of how these data centers work. Yeah, they're thinking about the whole picture, the materials they build with, the cooling systems, everything. They've even got these experimental underwater data centers.
Underwater. Whoa. Why underwater?
It's for natural cooling. The ocean keeps things nice and chilly.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Google being all strategic with their AI and Microsoft going big on green data centers. What about IBM? They're a huge name in AI too, right? Are they doing anything in the green AI space?
Oh, for sure. IBM's got a different angle. They've developed this green AI assessment toolkit.
Okay, what's that all about?
So it basically helps other organizations figure out if their AI projects are sustainable, like gives them a way to measure their impact.
So it's like a sustainability report card for AI.
Exactly. And it helps them find ways to improve, be more green.
That's really cool. But this can't just be about like individual companies doing their own thing, right? Don't we need some bigger industry-wide push towards green AI?
100%. We need everyone on board to make a real difference. We need standards, maybe even some regulations to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Right, right. So what's happening on that front? Any hope for a more like unified approach?
Actually, yeah, there's some cool stuff happening. There's this group, the Green Software Foundation. They're doing really important work.
What are they up to?
They're trying to make green AI the standard, not the exception. So they're working on guidelines and best practices for making all software, including AI, more sustainable.
That makes sense, like a rule book for greener code.
Yeah.
I dig it. What about governments? Are they doing anything to, encourage green AI?
Governments can be a little slow, you know how it is. But even there, we're starting to see some movement. The European Union, for example, they're working on this AI Act.
AI Act, okay. Tell me more.
So it's not finalized yet, but part of it would require companies to assess the environmental impact of their AI systems.
Like they'd have to be upfront about their AI's carbon footprint.
Yeah, exactly. And if it's bad, well, that's not going to look good.
Right. Bad for business. Makes sense.
Why?
So it sounds like things are, slowly but surely moving in the right direction. Companies are stepping up. Organizations are setting standards. Even governments are getting on board. It's kind of hopeful, right?
Definitely. And this is important stuff because AI is only going to get bigger, right? It's going to be even more a part of our lives.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which is why we need to make sure it's sustainable. But let's be real for a sec. It's easy to feel kind of powerless,
Yeah.
Like as individuals, what can we actually do? It's such a massive issue.
I hear you. It can feel overwhelming, but every little bit helps. Let's talk about some concrete steps folks can take after the break.
So for those of us who aren't like tech geniuses or CEOs, what can we actually do to support this whole green AI thing?
Well, it starts with being aware, right?
Mm.
Like think about the products and services you use every day that are powered by AI.
Okay, yeah, a lot of stuff these days.
Right. And take a minute to look into those companies. Do they care about the environment? Are they actually trying to be green?
And if they are,
Support them. Vote with your wallet,
Yeah.
It sends a message.
I like that. So it's about choosing companies that align with those values.
Exactly. And honestly, just talking about it helps. Tell your friends, post about it, The more people who care, the more companies will have to listen.
Right, right. Create that buzz. So Being mindful consumers and using our voices, what about the folks who are a bit more techie? Can they do anything more hands-on?
Oh, totally. The cool thing is there's a bunch of open source stuff happening in green AI.
Open source meaning.
Like collaborative projects anyone can contribute to. There are online groups, people sharing ideas, even building greener AI solutions together.
Wow, that's really cool. So no matter your skill level, there's a way to get involved. You could support the good guys, speak up, or even jump in and code.
Exactly. And it's not just about damage control, Green AI can help us build a better future, period.
Okay, now you're talking. Give me the good stuff.
Think about AI that helps us make renewable energy even better, or AI that predicts natural disasters so we can be prepared.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's incredible.
It is exciting stuff, and it's happening now.
This has been a great deep dive. We talked about why green AI matters, how it works, the challenges, the whole 9 yards. But as we wrap up here, what's your, big picture takeaway? Where do you see this all going?
Honestly, I'm optimistic. I think the tides are turning, people are waking up to this, and the technology is getting better all the time.
Yeah, it does feel like there's momentum building.
Right. We'll see more energy efficient AI, more companies switching to renewable energy, and hopefully more governments making it a priority.
It's like we're not just talking about making AI less bad. We're talking about using it to make everything better.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about it.
Couldn't agree more. A huge thanks to you for breaking all this down for us. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into green AI.
Thanks for having me.
It's a big topic, but hey, we all have a role to play in shaping the future of tech. So keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay